Breakups are one of the hardest things someone can go through, and it can leave you feeling confused, heartbroken, and full of grief. But what if I told you that heartbreak is actually the blueprint for becoming your highest self? In today's episode, we're here with Cole again, and we're going to talk about the Breakup Blueprint. How to navigate no contact, what to do with all that emotion, why you don't have to hate your ex, and how this can actually be the most productive transformation of your life. Before we hop into it, I just want to say breakups are really hard and they fucking suck. So we're not trying to tell you that you need to feel okay right now. Actually, we'll get into it, but I think it's okay to feel the opposite. But you're going to hear our perspectives. Sometimes they're alike, sometimes they're polar opposite in how to really go through this. So let's just start with the main thing. Cole, thank you for being with us again. I think you provided a really good perspective on just the man side to this, what they may be going through, how they can best cope with this. Something I think everyone can benefit from is definitely the no contact rule.
Mm-hmm.
The no contact rule is a minimum, emphasis on minimum, of 30 days where you don't have any contact with your ex. So no texting, no social media, no reminders. And this can be really hard for people.
Yeah. I mean, it's because naturally after you get out of a breakup, your body wants to try to cope and go into all those feel-good remembrances of that person. You know, despite it being toxic, despite it being great and just being broken up with out of the blue, you naturally want to try to heal, and you think that reaching out will do that. You know, I think the no contact thing is always easier said than done. You almost always are going to find some way to try to get his or her attention. But I think it's not so much about making them try to miss you or patching things up. It's more so to try to give you clarity on who you are without them. Mm-hmm. Like I think when you're in the relationship, you know, you're so used to that validation and constant connection that when you all of a sudden stop, you feel like something's missing. But I think that's your time to really look within rather than out.
Yeah, it gives you a clarity for sure. And I think what you're speaking to is that a lot of people put their ex on a pedestal.
Yeah.
When they go through a breakup, which, again, like you said, you really do only remember the good things because that's your mind's way of grieving. And what we would call a part of this grieving is the bargaining, right?
Yeah.
I should have done this. They were so great. All of these things. And then if you have no contact, I just want to emphasize, it doesn't mean never. It doesn't mean you're never going to talk to them. It means not right now. And I feel like time is really on your side in a breakup because you may go through the 30 days of not talking and at the end of it realize like, wow, maybe this was the right decision. Or maybe I don't need this closure, which I think we should talk about that. Like, is there even such a thing as closure?
Yeah, I mean, I think you never regret the message you didn't send. You only regret the ones you did. And I think post breakups, I did some weird ass stuff. Like, not so much the last breakup I went through, but in high school, that being young combined with like my first relationship, you just do weird things. You look back on it, you're just embarrassed by, like, my sister heard this, I wish you could hear her reaction to stuff I would do, like these weird
drama.
runs and trying to find ways to communicate and, like, tell your mom I miss her cooking, you know, weird shit like that. That just is embarrassing in the long run. I think it's better just try to avoid reaching out as much as you can and give yourself that time to really, like, try to work on yourself.
Yeah, there's also, like, I think it does benefit both parties, the dumper and the dumpee. Like, if you got dumped, hold some dignity for yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's what no contact really gives. Besides all the amazing things of clarity and time and space, it also allows you to walk away with not having to have begged them to stay with you.
Right. Yeah, and I feel like if they come back after this contact, you know, it's not because you played some sort of mind games or toxic thing. It's because you really made them feel your absence. And for whatever reason, after that 30 days, I don't know why it's some arbitrary, like some specific number, but it really kind of resets the balance.
Yeah. And I think there's opportunity too to, if you feel like there's something you have to get off your chest, just write it down. Journal on it. You're probably going to look back and be like, what the hell was I thinking? Like trying to Romeo and Juliet this
everyone starts writing letters. Post breakups,
but you know what?
Don't be that. Don't drop the note on the doorstep like, oh, I left you something.
But I think it's healing for you to do it with you and you. Like, go write it out. Go say all the corny little things you want to say. Go beg. Go get it out of your system because it's good for you. And again, you can always have that if you want to send it to them at the end of no contact. But I very much doubt anyone would.
Yeah, I think you just hit it on the head right there without maybe even realizing. It's do whatever weird stuff you got to do that you think's weird or some sort of cope. Like, do it for you, not the other person. Don't do it for anyone else. And then we're going to probably talk about other topics with this posting, that like revenge post, whatever. But do everything for you, not expecting the reaction of others. I would just
I also think if you're the one that did the breaking up with, it's really the fair thing to do is to give them space.
Yeah.
The person that you left. There's feelings of guilt that can come in and you want to like still kind of cater to them and be their friend and all those things. I mean, assuming it was a healthy relationship, but I feel like that's really unfair to the person that was broken up with.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's, because during this time, they just need time to think and get clarity, and when you start giving these hits of, getting reactions out of these people, it just confuses everyone.
Yeah, and you really shouldn't leave the relationship unless you're all out.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's just should be the general rule. Like, I understand there's, like, special circumstances in which, yes, you can break up and get back together, but I think for the most part, the right thing to do is to make sure that you have leveled out all options and this is not your person. So that even if you do want to talk after the no contact rule, it's more for the sake of like a conversation that's not so heightened in emotion, but not in this like, this was a break.
Right. Yeah, I think it's a good point.
Yeah. And then I just want to quickly say too, like no contact isn't just like no contact between you and them. It's also no contact in like even knowing anything about them. Ask your friends. Don't be the girl or the guy that's like, I want to know what she's doing. Tell me if you see her at this party. Tell me if you see him. Like, you also need to have no contact with anything in their life. It's really, really important. I believe that out of sight, out of mind is a saying for a reason.
Why do you think it's so hard?
To not know? Well, I mean, you were deeply connected to this person for a long time. I think it makes sense why you'd want to know. But I also feel like it's a form of self-punishment in a way. Like, how does it help you if you know that they're suffering? Are you, like, gonna go feel good? Okay, that's kind of temporary. They still broke up with you.
Yeah. Yeah, when you're looking for those external validations, I think that's when your cards are just going to come crumbling down. I mean, it's always got to come within. It's easier said than done. We've said it like 5 times now, but really just every step you take, do it for you. And you'll reflect back, in the 2 weeks or 3 weeks, like, oh, damn, you remember when I was all caught up on this? Like, go through it head on, feel everything, and let it pass.
Yeah. And then I think like during this time of no contact or even kind of lengthening into the breakup in general, post-breakup, I feel like there's like a couple ways you could go about this. So it's like what you do and maybe don't want to do during no contact. One of them is like the revenge makeover. What do you have to say about that?
It's always noticeable.
In a good way or a bad way? I feel like there's some tone.
It could be embarrassing. It could be like a girl goes from posting, her dog every, couple days to bikini pics. It's noticeable.
Okay, so I would say that, yes, I would say that a girl or a guy doing something that's like out of the ordinary for them, like posting a shirtless picture, maybe, yes, they like are posting up in a bikini, but it's like not a vacation or like whatever. Yeah, I do think that people automatically, the thought there is, oh my God, she's trying to piss off her ex or he's trying to get at her. And it's not for lack of better, saying, it's not so graceful.
Yeah.
But I think there's like an internal quote unquote revenge makeover that's actually really powerful. And I would say that that's the part of you that goes to the gym again, that's going back into your hobbies and your passions. And like there's almost a energetic magnet that comes towards you when you're doing that. I mean, there's like this saying all the time that like your ex is going to come back once you're finally, feeling okay. It doesn't necessarily mean you're over it, but there's a part of you that's become unshakable in who you are.
Yeah. Yeah. Back to your revenge posting. I think the louder you are after a breakup, the more you're like losing. Whereas, I feel like silence is the best revenge. And then all of a sudden you come out and maybe you lost 5 pounds and got this new job, or you're working more diligently towards
like
you just have a certain energy to you.
Come out back into society.
Yeah.
Yeah. Silence is sexy. It's like really mysterious.
Yeah. I feel like it's like a slow burn revenge. It makes them fill in the gaps, and their imagination is always worse than like the reality.
Like, what is she up to?
Yeah, because whereas if you're trying to put things out there like, oh, she's just trying to do this or that, with all silence, then you start thinking like, oh, damn, like, why is she doing better without me than with, and I'm not saying, again, I'll say this, for the people that are looking for the revenge, do it this way.
Which way?
Revenge is fine.
Okay.
But do it while bettering yourself.
Yes, I love that. Okay, yes. I'm actually totally for, I mean, maybe this isn't like the best thing for a therapist to say, but I'm totally...
booty pics or what?
No, I'm totally for, if you want to like fuel your makeover from hate, go ahead.
Yeah.
I have something to say about that, like, but if it's like anger and sadness, like, hell yeah, go let that be your fuel. I don't think there's anything quite as energetic as like the feeling of wanting revenge.
Yeah.
So I'm totally for that. You know why? Because I think 99% of the time that revenge turns into reality.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think breakups, they create two types of people, one who spirals and then one who becomes almost unrecognizable in the best way. And those could flip. Often, I think when a guy and girl break up, I think the girl is supposedly spiraling first, and then the guy is doing all his trying to party and get chicks and whatever, and becomes unrecognizable in the bad way. But then it flips, and then I think the guy starts spiraling, and then the girl really has traditionally really starts to better herself, and I think that is the best form of revenge.
Yeah, I want to touch on that because I do think there's obviously a stark difference for the most part in how men and women deal with breakups.
Yeah.
And I would say for the most part, like there's so many even podcasts on this, but how like guys always come back when they see that you're feeling better and they stop the partying and they stop sleeping around. Why is that? Like, is that coming from a true place? Or is that an ego place? Because I have seen it all.
Yeah, I think men delay pain, women process it. Like, she's crying week 1, and then he starts spiraling month 3. I think it's just, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a biological thing or what, but like, yeah, it just, for whatever reason, the guy, starts going to new gym or new girls' gym parties, whatever. But it's like almost the equivalent to what your point is, and it comes back. It's almost like trying to paint over mold. Like it always resurfaces. It finds its way back to the top. And I think that's typically how guys react.
Yeah, and I'm saying this to the girls specifically, but also, if you're a guy that got broken up with and this is resonating with you, guys always come back. I personally have not ever
You should speak on that.
I don't think I've ever, whether I broke up or someone.
Why do you think they come back? Just because you have a good smile or what?
I think, I think there's a lot of reasons. I think one, it could be totally that like, yeah, absence, makes the heart grow fonder. Or they, realize they wanted to change something. I think another part of it is like genuinely.
But did you handle it a certain way
to
I
make
think
that
people would
happen.
want to know that.
The no
Did you do
contact,
anything in
no
particular
contact.
that makes people want to
Yeah,
come back?
yeah.
Because they're probably, people were listening to this like, okay, you're Nicole, sure, you had people come back, but what did you do?
No contact.
No contact.
No contact.
At all?
Nope. Nope.
Not telling his mom you missed her cooking?
Nope. You're not going to see me.
Mm.
You're not going to hear about me, and I don't want to hear about you. And I think what I'm trying to get out with my point is that they will come back, and you need to be really real with yourself about why they're coming back and what their intention is. Because a lot of the times, and now I'm not just speaking from personal experience, I'm speaking from professional and just with my friends, and I have a lot of guy friends who I've seen do this and I've called them out on it. They don't want another man to have you, but it doesn't mean that they want you, right? Like the intention is not in the place of you're the only girl in the world for me. It's I don't want you to be with someone else, which is really selfish.
Yeah.
So I say that because there's a very high chance if you're listening to this and you're going through the breakup and you believe me, I don't care what you say, you're fantasizing about them coming back because it feels really good. It feels really good to have someone come back and admit that they fucked up, no matter who broke up with who.
Yeah.
But is it really worth going back to someone that like couldn't fight for you? Couldn't fight for the relationship? And it wasn't like a circumstantial thing of like, I don't know, moving away. But even that to me is fucking bullshit because, I mean, when people make long distance relationships work, right? Like the best advice, and I'll let you talk in a sec, Cole, about this, but I think you have something to say too in regards to this, is my dad, he gave me this advice so many times and I didn't understand it until I married my husband, or actually started dating my husband. He said to me that a man will go through hell to keep a woman in his life. And he doesn't mean mental hell, but physical strength and a little bit of that suffering if it means that he has this woman. And I didn't understand that. And he kept saying it to me every time I would try to like excuse someone I was dating, or like, you know, we would talk about relationships within the family. But it wasn't until my husband was taking 6-hour flights to see me for even one night. Or, you know, if we get into an argument here and there, we know this is not an argument that's ever tearing us apart. This is going to bring us closer. We need to understand each other better. So if this person left your life, I mean, are they really equipped to be with you long term?
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I think, like, to your point of when people come back or fighting, I think noticing your absence doesn't mean they value your presence. You know, and if you really want to mess with someone's head, like I'm all for like, sure, get some mind games, but do it for you. Like do the mind games, be a little toxic, whatever, but as long as it benefits you, like if you want to mess with someone's head, disappear into your purpose. And that was to your point of like, you went no contact, you went cold, you know, you really just go all in on you. Then they don't feel worthy, you know, of being a part of you because they think you're thriving without them. And then it goes back, your ex will come back in most cases. You know, if you do these types of things. The question is, will you accept that self or your version of yourself if you do let them back in?
Right, meaning like the new version of you.
Yeah, here you are. And like, but then you're going 5 steps forward, but now, you know, 6 steps back, 7 steps back, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I think we've said this, but you become unforgettable in being who you are.
Yeah.
So with that, there's like this debate. I know you're going to have a field day with this, but what do you think about the idea that you have to get under someone to get over someone? Because it's quite the debate.
I think it's a short-term fix, you think, but it ultimately never helps. Like you think it's going to distract, it's distracting you, but it's a distraction.
Are you saying that for men too? Like, do you think that men, because again,
men are way worse with it than women. I think it's easier for a woman to do that than a man.
A woman to do what? To get under?
Yeah,
someone else?
to get with someone else quick. You know, if they like, women call all the shots. I think a guy, it's harder for them to do something like this.
There's more effort.
Yeah, it's more effort, whatever. But I think it's the short answer is it's not going to help you in the long term. But, you know, if you feel you need some confidence boost, I think it's going to help you? No. And I'd like for people that have gone through this to comment so we could go back to this.
Yeah.
But it's almost always just going to be a like a quick hit, like a quick dopamine hit, and then it's going to fade and you're going to feel like shit again. And then you're going to be like, oh, why'd I get with this guy? You know, I shouldn't have done this. And then the regret kicks in and blame it on the tequila. Blame it on anything but what the real issue is.
For me, it's a timing thing. Like, I think the first few weeks post breakup, you should just put on the depressing music and just eat the popcorn and the ice cream and do what you need to do, but go to the gym and really feel. It's totally okay to be depressed and it's normal and it's human. But I'm not, surprisingly saying this, but I'm not totally against exploring with other people. But again, I really want to emphasize, I mean, after a certain amount of time, because I think if you, let's get into this. I think if you've been intimate with someone in any way, emotionally or physically, there is a deep contract between you two energetically. So it's really, really hard to just take that out, right? I have a lot of clients that post breakup, when they're intimate with someone again, they come and tell me I felt like my body was his. I was doing something wrong. My body didn't belong with this new person. We weren't used to it. And so I think that that's actually a really, really important thing to remember, to give yourself that time to claim yourself as your own before you go and explore with other people. So I'm not actually saying not to do that. I'm saying give yourself time to reclaim yourself. And then I think it's kind of fun. This is a good time to I'm not saying to go be crazy, but I think it's fun to explore wow, I could have a crush on someone again. I could feel sexually attracted to someone again. These are all important things, and also renewing, your life force and your libido. And so, yeah, I think do it not out of trying to get revenge.
Yeah, I think breakups strip you to your raw material, and then what you build from there is all up to you.
Yeah.
So you're it gives you a chance to reset and be who do I want to become next, and or what was I neglecting in that relationship of myself? Remember, it has nothing to do with the relationship. It's all about you. What did I kind of slack on when I was with this person? And then you have every opportunity with no distractions now to get yourself to that point. But then again, no distractions, getting under someone, posting for attention, doing these things, that's only going to delay you from the effort you should be putting into you.
Okay, so people are either going to love me for this or hate me for this, but I'm going to go off on this. I think the best thing that you could do for your breakup is learn how to not hate your ex. And the reason why I say that is because hating your ex still keeps you in a relationship with them.
Yeah.
You're thinking about them. You're still also, I have another podcast on this, but hate and love actually holds the same exact energy. It's indifference that is the opposite of hate. So, sorry, indifference is the opposite of love. So I say that because if you're putting all your time into hating your ex, you're still focused on them. That's one.
Mm-hmm.
Two, I think it's really important not to gossip about your ex for a plethora of reasons, but I'll just name a couple reasons. One is that when you talk poorly about your ex, you're bringing your own vibration to a really low place, and then that spreads out. Right? And you not only internally feel like shit, but other people start to look at you as a victim.
Mm-hmm.
Two is, I think there's really good karma in just not doing that, right? Your ex, again, if we're talking about a total sociopath, psychopath, narcissist, this is all, I'm not talking about that. I want to make myself clear, go vent all you need to say, do. But if this was a breakup where, someone broke up with you, they don't have this. I know this is the hard truth, but they don't have to stay with you, right? They don't have to be with you. There could be so many reasons why the breakup happened. And I actually think that if you can send well wishes to your ex energetically, not through text message, but just like, you know what? I hope me and them find our people. I think that's really, really, really good karma. I have noticed in my personal life and in my other friends' life that the relationships in which they didn't shit talk their exes and they just, loved them from afar and they said that they understood, the next person after that was like the best guy. The best guy. And I think there's something about that.
Yeah, I think hating your ex is just love in a costume.
Mm-hmm.
You're still orbiting them. You're still making them a priority. It's when someone starts talking, they instantly know you still care about them. Like I think you don't have to make someone the villain to stay the hero. That's a bar.
That's a bar.
Clip that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean every time you tell that breakup story, you're reliving it. So just stop giving it attention and just the moment you stop caring, the moment you stop bringing that attention, it's the moment you stop explaining yourself.
Graceful silence is again really powerful. And that silence in its own is the punishment, right? You don't need to go try to ruin their reputation and do all these things to like get other people to hate them. It's actually when you're so good with yourself, people will start to say like, you know what? She's handling this really maturely. And I actually think that's a part of this like revenge. That would drive someone crazy if they broke up with you.
Yeah, by far the most painful thing someone can do to someone that hurt them is watching you move on without needing revenge.
Yeah.
That is by far the most painful thing. Like we're kind of having a theme up here.
Yeah.
Go for your revenge, but don't do it with the intention of seeking revenge for that person, but rather it being the fruits of kind of your efforts and labors towards improving yourself.
Yeah. And we didn't actually discuss this previously, but it's coming up for me right now. I think an important question to ask yourself, and it's an honest question to ask yourself, but is if someone has hurt you in the relationship and in the breakup, I think it's very common again to like fantasize them coming back, and like it's kind of wrapped up in rom-coms actually. It's like guy fucks up, then like girl is feeling good and guy comes in with this like crazy romantic gesture to like want to be with you. And I just want you to ask yourself this question of, can I go back to that pain, the time when they left me? And would you, and I'm talking to girls because technically they would be walking down, but would you walk down the aisle to this person? And would you be able to truly forgive them? Because I think, again, the head, like the mind, likes to really put it on a pedestal of like, wow, if we got back together, everything would be harmonious again and they would treat me so well because they lost me. I just really don't think so.
Yeah, like once you come up with those excuses, like just run for the hills. That's my, like, we talked about this a little earlier, but when you go through the breakup, your body, when you ever thinking of the bad, typically, you're just thinking of ways to try to like get through this and make yourself feel good so you don't feel bad. Try to remember what was the case of why you broke up. What was those reasons that drove you to this point? This wasn't overnight. This was something in the making for a while.
Yeah, which is also an important point, because I think when you're getting broken up with, sometimes like you're like, where the hell did this come from? And it feels really confusing. But the reality is this person's been thinking about it for a long time.
Yeah.
And so now that's actually why the no contact rule is also so important. Now you need time to understand why you guys broke up.
Yeah.
And if at the end of everything, this is why I always say time is on your side. We're not saying not to talk to your ex. You can talk to your ex, but talk to your ex when you have a lot of clarity. And it can be a conversation of, maybe there was something in the breakup that it was too hard to say in that moment. I think you have the opportunity to say that.
Do you talk to any of your exes?
Yeah.
I don't. See, I would disagree with that.
But so this is important because you're a guy and I'm a girl.
I don't think there's really like what. If you had some super strong relationship beforehand, previously to dating romantically,
Meaning like being friends.
yeah, then sure.
Right, but if you're like two random people
yeah,
that
if you're
met,
two random,
oh, totally. No,
Yeah.
I agree with that. But I think like, you know, if this is someone that like you have to run into or any of those things, my point is that it'll be time is on your side.
yeah,
And
be civil.
And
all the time.
I really do think that after so long of not talking, you're not even going to want to have the conversation, but just know that if this person's meant to be in your life and if they're meant to be with you, there's no amount of time that's going to force you guys apart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So with that, again, breakups hurt because they end a chapter we weren't ready to close, but maybe that's the point, to remind us that we're not finished, we're just beginning. And the breakup blueprint isn't about getting over someone necessarily. It's actually about returning home to yourself. So I want to also mention that you should be really grateful that you had that relationship and that love because it taught you so much. I mean, it only gets better and better, right? Even like the worst of the worst relationships, you learned something. Or if it was like who you think is your dream guy, believe me, your life partner is going to be even better than that. And you get to actually extract from the last relationship of, you know what, he was X, Y, and Z, and I love that. And I want to find that in someone else. But then everything that he was missing, you're going to find in the next person.
Yeah, I think you're allowed to break down, but make it productive. You know, cry, go to Pilates, you know, write, whatever. Just keep moving.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's probably my biggest takeaway, I would say, on that front.
Yeah, move through the grief.
Yeah.
Okay, so without being too repetitive, how do we cope?
This is a breakup topic and you're laughing. Not everyone's happily married right now. So I think you have to remember that. What if I'm going through a massive breakup right now?
You're
Can you
in
tell?
a very happy relationship, Cole. And I have been through the ringer.
Yeah.
I've been through the ringer.
Have you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know how hard it is.
Yeah. Yeah. To answer your question, I don't think you've asked me yet how we cope. I think if you handle heartbreak right, it doesn't break you. It just introduces you to a new version of yourself you would have never met. And I think you should find comfort in that. You know, that pain has that expiration date, but you know, you keep renewing it every time you put off the inevitable of working on yourself or checking their profile, whatever. You know, just put it all in on you and be brutally honest with yourself. And I think you should be just fine.
Yeah, I think how to cope is really to come back to your passions. I think a lot of people, when they get into a relationship, like they start putting everything second to their partner. And not only is that a reminder to not do that in your next relationship, but things like that you've loved to do before you got into this, you just have so much more time now. You're worried about only you. So really take advantage of that because you know what? The next relationship is around the corner. So this can be a really, really productive time for you.
Yeah, like you can't avoid the pain. You can't skip the pain, but you can choose what it builds.
Yeah.
Chew me up and spit me out.
I think Cole is his ADD is kicking in. So we're just going to
write in the comments. If you guys want to see me again, I want to answer direct. I asked Nicole this last time. I want to know exactly what people want to know.
Yeah, I'm
brutally honest.
I'm totally
Should I sleep with his best friend? I want to answer that.
Mm-hmm.
Or her best friend.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Okay. All right, guys. Well, don't forget to subscribe. We hope this was helpful for you. Cole, thank you so much for being with us.
Well, Nicole, thank you so much for having me on my second appearance. And now, when am I going to get a full-time gig? Is that going to be in the cards or no?
Cut him off. Yeah.
Boom.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to How We Cope podcast, a podcast dedicated to elevating your life by your host, Nicole Nurian. This podcast is sponsored by Culver City Chevrolet, where you can lease a Chevy Equinox for $189 a month. Mention you're a subscriber of How We Cope podcast to unlock the special deal.